So my wife killed me. It was in an automobile accident, and she didn't mean to. She loves me too much. But she was a vital part of getting me back to life again, too, okay? It's one thing to have a wife that can kill you. It's another thing to have one that can believe God to resurrect you, all right? We were in a van, my wife and I, and 8 of our children. I had been driving all night long. Our eldest daughter had given to me for Father's Day a tape by the Gaithers called Fully Alive. And this will help you to date it. Back in 1984, I think is how long ago this happened. Yes, 1984, Father's Day. Isn't it wonderful to go to heaven on Father's Day? God does all things in order, you know. I was on my way to see the Father on Father's Day. Well, I had driven all night, and it was getting that just dawning time when it is so difficult to stay awake, and so I pulled off the highway up in the mountains of Northern California, the big mountains, and said, honey, my head is dropping and I don't want to go off a cliff. If you will just simply drive for an hour, I'll be refreshed, and I'll be able to go on for 4 or 5 more hours, and you can have some more sleep, because she had worked for a straight 24 hours getting 8 children ready, and her and I to go down to Phoenix, Arizona from Portland, Oregon for a wedding, our second daughter's wedding. Well, she took the wheel and I crawled in the seat behind her, which was a full seat. The front was a full seat. Our 10-year-old was at her right hand up front, and she was driving. She had the headphones on. She wasn't buckled in. It wasn't a law yet that you had to be seat belted in Oregon at that time. We understood later it was in California. But none of us were buckled in. To the deepest sleep, because I was sleeping so good. Right behind me was 3 of our boys. And then in the very back of this 1970 Volkswagen, laying on blankets and pillows, were 4 of our youngest children. And all of a sudden I was awakened with her crying, "The blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus." Now we always do that anytime there's an emergency or any sudden fear. Any emergency, the slightest thought of a deer coming in the road, a bird, or any animal or any person looking like they're going to come out in front of me, the blood of Jesus is the first thing I think. Why? Why? Ephesians chapter 2, you're a far ways off from heaven, aren't you? But you're drawn nigh that quick through the blood of Jesus. We're drawn to the throne through the blood of Jesus. And if you want your petitions known instantly, it's through the blood. So she was crying, "The blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus." And something was banging under the van, and I couldn't figure what it was, and I was trying to get out of this sound sleep. And I made myself sit up, trying to get my eyes open, and she's always said, "Well, honey, if you'd have just stayed laying down and praying, you wouldn't have got killed." And I says, "Well, dear, what man on the face of the earth would stay laying down when his wife is crying loudly, 'The blood of Jesus,' and something is banging under the van real hard?" I had to get up, and the van is leaning dangerously. Well, she'd gone off all 4 tires off the road, trying to get the headphone wires that were plugged into the dash, that our 10-year-old had got his feet tangled up into the emergency brake and the gear shift. So she was over here trying to untangle them, and my wife, when she does something, it doesn't matter if she's picking something up or what, she automatically does this. Well, what does that do? That takes you off the road. She does not claim to be an expert driver, but she does know about prayer. So she was crying the blood of Jesus, and I set up when all of a sudden a chunk of that asphalt that was breaking off where she was trying to get the tire back up on the pavement, it didn't give. And when that happened, the rubber of that tire turned like this, spinning the wheel, throwing her over against David. Well, we were already leaning, and it put the van around like that, throwing her over against David on the other side of the van, and we went careening across the highway on 2 wheels. Well, there was a big black question mark about this long on that highway afterwards that I saw, and I think the question mark meant, do you really want to do this? Because when she grabbed the steering wheel and pulled to get behind the wheel, it took the rubber of that tire that was leaning like this going along and forced it into the asphalt, causing the van to do a complete endo. It did a complete flip around and came upside down on its top. And we skidded exactly right straight down the white line, leaving orange and white paint on both sides. Well, that was the situation, but above my head was the car top carrier loaded with all the luggage of 10 people for 10 days.